This episode of We Like Shooting Double Tap is brought to you by Polymer 80, Hackett Equipment, the Sonoran Desert Institute, the Patriot Patch Company.
That was great, man.
There was an and missing there.
I almost couldn't tell. Welcome to We Like Shooting Double Tap, episode 155, where we answer your questions, ask a few of our own, and touch base on gun industry news. Our panel tonight, the owner of River's Edge Tactical, Jeremy Posderick. We got the very sleepy Machine Gun Moses checking in, Aaron Krieger. Nick Lynch is dead. In his place is Mr. Guns and Gear. My name's Sean Heron, and I want to welcome you all to the show. I'm beginning to think Nick actually is dead.
I was under the impression he was.
Yeah, no, I'm truly starting to think that he might be dead. Like, he's been texting me, but he's saying things that Nick would never say, like, hope you have a great day, buddy, and stuff like that. It's just weird, man. I don't know. Maybe, Aaron, maybe you could call him and see if he's all right.
No.
That just seems like too much work. I'm not in.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm.
I mean, you woke me up for the show. That's a lot of effort on my part right now.
Dude, I had to look up your phone number. I was like, how do I call Aaron? I don't even know.
It was weird.
Yeah.
That's my phone call? That's my phone ringing? That never happens.
So ridiculous. Mike, what's going on, man?
Another day during the year of 2020, which is an interesting one for sure.
It's like the end of the world every day. I don't even know what's coming next.
And it's new every day. Yeah, exactly.
Jeremy, what the hell's going on with that hat? You're muted.
So what's wrong with my hat? You got a problem with my hat?
It's like the Jane hat from Serenity, right?
It's my Jane hat.
Yeah. But like, why are you wearing it?
You got a problem with my hat?
No, it's cool. Why are you wearing it?
It was here. My other hat's over there.
That's like 20 feet.
No,
it's funny.
My room's pretty far away.
You have like a winter hat on, but you forgot to put sleeves on your shirt.
Were you working out?
I didn't forget to put sleeves on my shirt. I
can afford
Actually, Sean sent me this shirt.
I did, actually. Yeah. Sleeveless We Like Shooting shirt.
Do we have those?
Did it come without sleeves?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we do then.
All right. I guess so. All right. Let's do an ad read real quick and get into it. Polymer 80 is going to be first. I have been working on a couple different projects. I've been working on the PF9 SS, which is a very, Glock 43 compatible firearm, and got everything in now. I'm going to put it together tomorrow. But also the PTEX 320, which I think is actually pretty dang cool. It's Aaron, did you see those? You've got one, right?
What's that?
The 320 frame from Polymer 80.
Yes. Yeah, it's right next to me.
Is that
kind of my shoulder?
Yeah, I was like,
I can't really reach over for it.
The cat's distracting everybody.
Sorry.
Yeah. What do you think of it? You've shot it a bit, right?
Yeah, it's actually it feels really good. I'm really impressed with it. I like it.
Cool. Yeah, I've got. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I actually shot one when I was out with Jonathan Tactical Toolbox as well. It's a smooth shooter.
Yeah. Do you like that grip angle?
I do.
Yeah, I do too. It's that grip angle that they use for pretty much all their stuff. I truly prefer. I will say that one of our listeners sent the 320 that I'm going to use for the review, and it's kind of awesome. It's like one of the X5s, and man, it's very cool.
That's the one I used, actually.
Yeah, so awesome. So go check out Polymer 80. Always putting out cool stuff and doing cool stuff. And I actually saw that Recover Tactical, that 2020 brace, is going to support Polymer 80s very soon, and I think that'll actually be very huge for Recover Tactical. Go check out Polymer 80, polymer80.com. Coupon code WLS Life saves you 15% off all day, every day. And let's go ahead and get into, what is it, Aaron? What are we calling it these days? Wacky weapons?
Wacky weapons, where we weigh in on the pros and cons of types of weird weapons. All
right. So I'm almost afraid to ask, but what do you have for us tonight?
All right. I'm not sure if it's the TAP 50 or the TAP 50 Vespa. Now, if you guys are not familiar, a Vespa is basically a motor scooter. And this one is one with a motor scooter that has a recoilless, recoilless cannon attached to it.
Yeah.
I think that's a recoilless rifle.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. Thank you.
3-inch recoilless rifle, M20 75 millimeter recoilless rifle. I didn't even know what this was, and then I Googled it, and I was like, holy shit, I want that.
Yes. Well, first, it's like the old joke, what do what's the difference between a fat girl and a moped?
What?
Nothing, really. You don't want to see your friend. You don't want your friends to see you either. But this one, you want everyone to see you ride it because look at that thing. Now, it was for paratroopers, I believe. Oh, was it French paratroopers? Is that what it says?
They parachuted it in.
Yeah.
Mike,
and I guess it could go fast, which is crazy.
Do you know anything about these, Mike? Have you heard of them before?
I have. And I believe the Italians use them as well. So I'm not sure why the French would have had them, but it's possible.
Because the Italians took over. It's crazy.
So
it's entirely possible. But there was one that was kind of like a bigger offshoot of this down at Ox Ranch. If you remember that.
God.
It had a sidecar.
Oh, I remember the sidecar, but I don't remember the cannon, actually.
Yeah, there was one on there.
Holy So I've actually touched one. I remember exactly what you're talking about. I just don't remember the cannon. That is so weird.
Yeah.
So it says the scooters would be parachute dropped in pairs accompanied by a 2-man team. The gun was carried on one scooter while the ammunition was loaded on the other. Due to the lack of any kind of aiming devices, the recoilless rifle was never designed to be fired from the scooter. They vented the gas out the back, which meant that they didn't need any kind of recoil system. But yeah, this is amazing, but also terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you ever see one of these?
No.
Do you?
Jeremy's like, I got a motorcycle, but do you have one of these?
Yeah. I'm going to go through my footage from Ox Ranch now and find it because this is cool. I don't know why I don't remember seeing the cannon on it at all, which makes me think like, why the would I see a Vespa and not be like, oh, that's amazing.
Right. The one there, I don't think it was a Vespa, though. I think it's just a similar concept.
Yeah. I mean, like a moped or a motorcycle with a big, huge cannon on it. Vespas cost roughly $500 at the time, and the M20s were plentiful. 600 were produced between 56 and 59, and it also had 2 cans of fuel and 6 backup rounds as well. So, yeah, that's nicely done, Aaron. I'd never seen one before until today.
Have you fired a recoilless rifle, Jeremy?
No, never have.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I haven't.
They're awesome.
A Dragon Man's here actually has tons of them, but I don't think he says that you're able to shoot them or that they work and that they will fire, but I don't think I've ever seen them be fired or even heard of him shooting them.
Well, he told we did a tour last time I was there, and he told the story of he shot the smallest one and it hit one of his berms, and then he had to rebuild the berm because it just completely destroyed it.
That's right. He did say that.
Yeah, I would imagine as a civilian it'd be tough to get good ammo for it because it's you have to set the timer and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's a little different, but yeah, no, they're fun.
Dang. So what was it like shooting a recoilless rifle? Was it like, I mean, what's the pressure wave, everything?
Yeah, it rocks you. The Army, anyway, I don't know what other services do, but with the Carl Gustav, that's what we use for people who don't know. They set a limit now, and I'm sure it wasn't always like this, but they set a limit of, I think it's 5 rounds a day in training that you're allowed to fire at most, and because of brain impact.
That's so crazy.
I mean, it rocks you. Your teeth are chattering when you shoot those things. But it can do so much. I mean, it can be a rifle. You can time it for air burst. I mean, there's so many cool things you can do with it.
That is pretty cool. I love that. That 5 round a day limit or whatever it is that was put into place because there was like a whole battalion of people walking around with TBIs.
100%. I guarantee that's exactly what happened.
Oh man. All right, cool. That'll do it for that. Before we go on, just wanted to mention SDI, Sonoran Desert Institute, still have lots of classes available there, degree programs, and honestly, if you've just been curious about being a gunsmith or just want to learn more about like how to build an AR-15 or a 1911 from start to finish from an 80% frame, they've got all that available. You can check them out at sdi.edu. That's the Sonoran Desert Institute. And let's get into the questions.
Burn when you pee? Unsure about your relationship? Why can't you use 45 and a 9mm? Get your questions answered on #DearWLS. Visit WeLikeShooting.com/DearWLS to submit your questions.
All right. So, first question comes from Joe R. says, are y'all ever going to have your kids or immediate family, wives, husbands on so we can hear what they think about firearms and how their lives have been affected by what y'all are doing? We all know what it's like to be gun people, but what about the folks around us?
No.
Why not, Aaron?
Absolutely not. Well, first of all, my oldest is 13, and they're not really interesting to talk to at that age.
Yeah.
He'll be like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, okay, yeah. And my wife is not a huge proponent of firearms, so yeah, that would not come from my side.
Yeah, that seems. Jeremy, what about bringing your wife on the show?
Never going to happen.
Why not?
She can't stay awake past 9 o'clock.
Okay. Let's see. Nick, I guess, could bring Tyler on the show, but Mr. Guns and Gear, what about you? Is your significant other interested in all this at all?
So my wife she's been on my channel several times. Mm-hmm. She's, the way to describe her is she's a libertarian hippie. So she totally gets the use of guns and why they're important and all of that stuff and the true meaning of the Second Amendment and all that. And, but she's she'll come out and shoot every now and then, but she's not into it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing. My girlfriend's definitely into guns, but my kids, they don't. I mean, I'd say, let's see. So I've got 4 kids. 50% of them are gun owners, but not practicing, not really. They want to go out and shoot and things like that. But none of them are anti-gun. But yeah, they've got other lives and they live those and they're not impressed. I sent them a picture of my new PVS 14s and they were just cool. And then they made fun of me and sent me the Step Brothers when they have the nods, and they're even cooler that we have them when we're 40. I was like, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think we're ever going to have immediate family on the show. I just don't think that they're that interested. And to be perfectly honest, they all think we're huge, probably nerds. Aaron, your wife's not that impressed by you, right?
Oh, no, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, but she wasn't before we got married either, so.
That's true. But she knew you'd be a good provider.
Yeah. I thought you said she was a good provider. Yeah, yeah, she is. Yeah.
Well, congrats on all your success. Aaron, take the next question.
The next question comes from Jack B. Why do people shoot with gloves? I've tried a few brands and they suck. The reason I tried them was because tactical gloves look cool and I saw videos of people using them. I think I understand the cons of using gloves, but I can't think of a single benefit other than freezing weather, which tactical gloves don't look suited for anyway.
You don't live in the desert then?
Well, I don't know.
No, that person does not live in a desert. I will tell you that right now.
Why?
That person does not live in an area where the temperature of surfaces can get well over 130 degrees.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, okay, so you're talking about your gun being really super hot, right? But let's also say...
No, not your gun, everything.
Okay. But I've never seen you shoot with gloves, Jeremy.
I don't live in an area where it's really, really hot.
I mean, okay, I guess I can get that, right? But I don't know. Mike, what do you think? Why do people shoot with gloves?
Yes, you have. I just tend to wear fingerless gloves.
Oh, that's true.
So, in general, I'm not a huge fan of shooting with gloves, the exception being machine guns. And not just because of the heat. If you're ever a machine gunner, you'll thrash your hands. If not, you'll just be bleeding everywhere. But even then, I tend to a lot of times just go with it anyway. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan. I do it occasionally, but it's not a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Some folks, want the traction on the gun and stuff like that, which I can get, but.
Yeah. So we started adding shooting with gloves on to our gun reviews recently, just because I was like, it's kind of, I know a lot of people do it. And right. I was immediately shocked at how many issues that I had. Stripping magazines is a little bit more difficult, especially on smaller handgun frames, because the gloves kind of stick to the mag. You have to rip the mag out. Getting your finger inside the trigger guard on some guns is actually incredibly difficult if you have any kind of mass whatsoever on your gloves. And I was kind of surprised by that. On the flip side, I was really surprised at actually how well I was able to grip the firearm and control it during rapid fire and stuff like that. And, normally I can shoot pretty fast, but I really felt like I had a lot more control. Now, I don't like shooting with gloves on. I don't do it. Aaron every now and then will be like, "Why did you put gloves on?" Because the suppressor or the gas block was like 5,000 degrees.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the only time is when it's really practical. However, we did a promotional video for Swamp Fox, and they wanted us to wear gloves just because it's tactical AF. So I think generally, like most people that shoot with gloves on probably are just trying to be tactical. But I definitely see some uses. I really hate it. I just feel like I don't have a great feel for the gun that I normally feel like I have.
And then, one thing I'd add too is if you have hard knuckles on your gloves, it changes your grip.
Yeah.
So that's another downside.
So
I don't really notice that.
When I wear gloves, the key for me is they have to be super tight. I hate when you wear gloves and it's got that, like, the fingers are longer than your own, so it's like that little flap of loose fingers, at the end. So I can't. I mean, I try to buy gloves that are as form fitting as possible, or that they're almost tight, just so I can feel everything. Because that's an important thing. Because if you have gloves and you could potentially lose not dexterity, but I don't know.
Dexterity.
It is dexterity, yeah.
It's dexterity, yeah.
Yeah, and
The tactile response.
Yeah, and that, I mean, the only reason I would wear gloves is, there's no, like Sean said, heat, and Jeremy said heat, and Mike said heat, because that's the only reason you'd wear gloves. Because I don't see it really a performance issue. It actually is almost like the opposite of that.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I don't know. I can't find gloves that fit right. I guess I just need to shop at Baby Gap for my gloves or something. You know what they say about small hands.
I have good size hands, I think. See, there they are.
But yeah, they're just weird, man. I've never loved it. I will say that I can shoot pretty fast with gloves on as long as the gun fits with the gloves and all that works. Just because I don't know, it's like you can't feel it, and I didn't realize that. I've got my carry gun stippled, and you just kind of don't realize that does kind of get on the flesh of the hand just a tiny bit. But when you don't have that kind of holding you back, I was able to shoot a bit faster. Don't like it, but I can definitely understand why people do it.
Yeah, I really do, and I always say this, but I really do like the way the ironclad gloves fit my hands. They just feel great on them, and that's they're my favorite gloves. I say that all the time.
Yeah. So we posted in our cult group, just asking people a few questions, and Tony D said, "I'm inclined to trust his opinion on most things, but I've seen some criticisms on body armor test videos. Be interested to hear Mr. Guns and Gear talk about testing methods." So, like, I guess I've seen that too, and I know when we shot some body armor, they're like, "Oh, you just had it standing in the dirt," and I'm like, "Well, yeah. What if you off?" But I mean, you probably have a better response to that. Like, what are your thoughts on the testing methodology of body armor?
Yeah. So nowadays, because I got all of those comments too. And I honestly, I think they're valid. But the reality is I'm not going to set up an NIJ test lab in a field. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So what I try to do is I try to put typically a box, but sometimes sandbags as well, behind the armor. So that way there's some sort of resistance to replicate what you'd have on a body. It's not the same, but it's something. So yeah, I mean, that definitely is what I try to do, just for that reason alone. Yeah.
Now, why is that important? Like, why is having mass behind the armor important?
So it's going to change two things. Without it, depending on what you're shooting at it. So say you're shooting soft armor, just for an example, and you're shooting something slow, like a 45. That 45 can move it as it's actually going into the armor. So your results are going to be different than if it's not moving. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the biggest one. Another thing it will change is back-face deformation ratings. So NIJ standards, there are back-face deformation standards in the standard. So it will change that for sure.
As far as body armor goes, like, what have you seen is some of your more successful stuff, or what stuff has performed well for you?
Most things perform to their rating, which is good. It just depends what you want, right? Because it's a balance of weight and armor, and that's been the case forever. However, one thing that's really changed a lot in the last probably 5 years is the, perfecting of polyethylene or UHWMPE armor. So they can make that in soft configuration, which is going to compete a lot with Kevlar. There are pros and cons to each. But then they can also make hard armor out of it as well, which is crazy because you can get, a level 3 rated rifle plate that weighs 3.5 pounds. I mean, that's nuts. And it'll stop everything besides quote unquote armor penetrating type rounds.
That is so light.
It's so light. When you put it on, like, I've mentioned it on my channel, but I've broken my back twice. I have a lot of other injuries to my back. So like me carrying around a 30-pound plate carrier these days, it's just not happening. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So like to go from, your standard, like an ESAP medium, I think is like 8 pounds. So 2 of those plus your kit, versus 7 pounds for both plates plus your kit is significant.
Right. Well, and it's funny because my plate carrier is sitting in the other room and it literally, I think it weighs 29 pounds or something like that. I mean, for me, it's okay because I've been carrying around 100 extra pounds all the time, so I'm used to it. But yeah, for you, I get it. Like it's not comfortable.
And then if you put in the side panels, oh my God, that thing just gets heavy.
I do have the side panels in. Just,
that's I'm like, I'll risk it. This is so heavy.
Too, like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Safe Light stuff, but that's an interesting product as well. It's got, have you guys seen it? Are you familiar with it?
No, talk to me about it.
So it's, I did a video on it, but ironically, their video, because I said they could post it as well, their video of my video has more views than any video I've ever made before. It's got like 7 million views.
Jeez.
But mine has like 50,000 because, censorship. But
Yep.
That's what it is. They're a defense contractor. They don't get that. But so it's a hybrid. It's a flexible rifle armor. So it can stop 760 by 39, 300 blackout, 5.56. It stops most 308, but they don't say that publicly. But like Scott over at Kentucky Ballistics just beat the out of it with 308. It was fine. But it's soft. So it's like takes a similar concept to the old dragon skins, but a totally different application in the way they do it. Like the old dragon skin armor, if anybody's ever held that stuff, was like 50 something pounds. This stuff is like for a large, so the one I have, it's 18 pounds.
I had no idea dragon skin was that heavy.
Oh my God. It's atrocious. It's the worst. And then it fails.
It's all ceramic though, wasn't it?
No.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Like, yeah, there's a backing to it. And then the glue they used was like some kind of like dense glue thing.
Some like a mortar.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's interesting. It's not cheap. It's an interesting product though, to be able to get it and have that mobility, but still stop rifle threats it's interesting.
Yeah. What was the armor you were just talking about that has 7 million views?
Safe Life Defense.
Oh yeah. Okay.
FRAS. Flexible rifle armor system. FRAS.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Aaron, why don't you take the next question?
Next question is from Jason K. Any suggestions on a Ruger 1020 barrel that is threaded? I'm looking to get a suppressed 1022 for small game hunting. What Bowers Group suppressor would you suggest?
Wait, does he want a 1022? Like what 1022 threaded barrel to get?
Yeah,
a Ruger 1022 threaded barrel. Like,
well, I mean that's not that useful. I can tell. I can tell you, I've bought 2 threaded 1022 barrels. One was an ER Shaw, and one was a carbon fiber primary weapons.
Oh, yeah, one with the proof barrel on it too.
No, that's not my 1022. But so I've got both those, and I got the ER Shaw because it's a heavy barrel that's on my open bolt 1022 machine gun, and yeah, that one's cool. But I got to say, the primary weapons, it's threaded, it's carbon fiber, it's pretty light, and it's pretty awesome as well. I really like that one. You can get them both at Brownells.
I was going to say, if you're on a budget, Brownells, get their barrel.
Yeah.
Like, I had with my takedown, my Charger takedown, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. I mean, it would not work. And I threw a Brownells barrel, and it works fine.
Huh.
So
that's interesting. I wonder what that one costs. I'm trying to. I don't see the Brownells version. I know the ER Shaw that I got from Brownells was like $100.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad.
It was like Tactical Solutions, Volquartsen, like.
Well, yeah, Volquartsen. They don't make anything bad.
Yeah, they're pricey.
Nice.
Yeah, they're pricey though.
Or just a Ruger 1022 with a threaded barrel.
I don't see those very often.
Huh?
I don't see those very often.
I just sold 2 of them.
Yeah, but you own a gun store.
So do you.
Oh yeah, that's true. Good point. And then what was the next part of that question, Aaron?
Which Bowers can would you suggest?
Biddy.
I'd go with the bigger one.
Yeah, the SR. What was it?
USS.
Yes, thank you.
So, in all seriousness, if somebody is debating that, I highly recommend. Obviously, I'm shameless plug, but check out my Bowers Group video where I have both of those cans in the same video and I meter them on different guns, so you can get a really very good idea of what to expect from each.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say the Biddy's great for the compact, and in fact it suppresses the sound, but the other one is
USS.
More volume, so it's gonna contain more gas, which will make it actually quieter as well.
I do agree. However, I have to say that on a long-barreled 1022, the Biddy performs really well. Like on a 1022 pistol or something, like it's going to have a little bit of crack to it, a little bit of cringe factor, just because it is going to be a little louder. I only know because I've actually shot it here in the office into a dump barrel. But it had a little bit of pop to it on a pistol, but on a rifle it was much better. So it is fun, and because it is so incredibly tiny, and it's almost the exact same diameter as both the ER Shaw and the primary weapons barrels that I have, it almost seems like it's not even on there. So it's fun, and it's hearing safe.
Oh yeah. In my videos, like I think on a bolt gun, which I actually have right behind me, it was like 125 or something like that dB. I mean, it's definitely hearing safe for sure.
Yeah.
I will put it this way. I will say this: a Biddy on an SR22 pistol, not good, not fun.
No.
In a concrete box.
No, it's not the most hearing safe and effective, I think, but on the longer barrel, it's awesome.
On a bolt action, like for squirrel hunting, it would be.
Love it. Let's see. Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that's what I have mine on is a bolt action 22, my Biddy, and it works great.
Michael C. over at the Cult asks about Mr. Guns and Gear. What's your favorite suppressor? And I know there's like so many purposes and different uses, but I guess what's the one that you're just like, yes, this is my favorite.
So again, it kind of depends, but definitely check out my everything you need to know about suppressors video, because I go over all the different pros and cons of different ones. Probably my favorite, one of two. So it's either the Bowers Group Dreadnought, simply because it's so ridiculous and it really is quiet. Like I've shot that thing on a 9mm pistol caliber carbine and it was laughable. And then, you can also of course throw it on a 458 SOCOM rifle.
Yep.
But I would probably say the SOCOM Mini, just because it looks cool.
SOCOM Mini.
And honestly, it meters well too, port size. But I don't know, man. I'd give you a different answer tomorrow if you asked me.
I totally agree. I do love the Dreadnought just because it is so ridiculous, and
it really is.
I mean, it handles literally just about everything. It's made for safari calibers, like titanium baffle stack, rated up to 460, I believe. Yeah, 460 bullet.
Anything 464.
Yes, I mean it's made for like safari calibers, but it'll handle anything, including full auto, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I did a mag dump in my video, which I'm going to repost one of these days, but on it with an MP5, and it's ridiculously quiet.
It's so awesome. Jeremy, why don't you take the next one from the notes?
Let's see here.
Why is
Jono?
Yeah.
Which one?
The one that's not green.
Jojo Rabbit says, if over the ear pro is such a hassle to deal with, mess up your sunglasses and are hot, why doesn't everyone just use foamy earplugs? That's what I use. I feel like OTE shouldn't even be a thing.
Okay. First of all, foam earplugs suck, I think. Second of all, I don't know that they're that big of a hassle. Like the convenience factor of just throwing on some earmuffs.
I'll put it this way. If you're holding a long gun and your headphones are hitting the stock of your gun, you're holding your gun wrong.
So, for me, the only exception to that rule, I generally agree with you. For me, the Howard lights, I do have that every now and then. I'm not a big fan of those, but anything else, yeah, no, I never have an interference issue. But me personally, I'm 90% of the time I'm shooting, I'm doubled up. So I have both in, and that's just because I'm kind of paranoid and because I'm a high volume shooter.
Mm-hmm. Once you lose your hearing, you're done.
Right? You can't get it back.
Right.
So exactly. So and then over the ear, of course, gives you the ability to have electronic hearing protection, which is huge.
Yeah,
I have really expensive in-ear, custom molded, electronic, blah blah, $600 and some, like really nice ear pro that I wear when I'm at a range all day, and I have to wear them nonstop. When I work in an indoor shooting range, I don't have time to go in, out, in, out, in, out. It is easy to throw something on my head, walk through a door, a moron, walk back out, and take them off.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I prefer over the ear. It's just comfortable. I don't like. I don't like earbuds. I don't like sticking things in my ear. It irritates my ear. I did have the custom ones built out, and if you keep them in your ear long enough, it feels like there's pressure building up, and I'm not a fan of that. I do have electronic in the ear ones that work great, but and electronic is one of the key factors because I want to be able to hear with my ear pro on. And so, yeah, definitely going with the anything electronic, whether it's in your ear, over the ear, however you want to put it on. I guess it's really the personal preference. I have no problem either way.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, for me, it's probably different than you guys because you're out there with other people, but I shoot by myself for like 8 to 10 hours a day. Right. So I'm listening to the radio typically.
Yeah.
Bluetooth. Right. So
agreed. I have a pair of earphones specifically with really loud Bluetooth in them, so I can do that. So we go to the range. We film once a week. I go to the range more than once a week, but we film once a week. And I'm constantly. We're moving locations. I'm taking my ear pro off. I'm putting my ear pro back on. If I was using it in earplugs, it would suck. The only time that over the ear protection, and I do use Howard lights. I've got some of the more expensive ones. I do like them, especially with the noise fighters, those gel inserts, which I love. That I don't really have any problems. The only time I ever have a problem is when I'm shooting shotgun because the comb on my shotgun is a little bit higher and constantly.
That's what it is for Howard lights with me too. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Same exact thing.
And it's really annoying. Other than that, I don't notice. I do have expensive custom molded ear pro that I wear once a year. Just when I'm like, oh, I have these. These are awesome. And
I lost mine. I don't know what happened. So if someone finds them, don't put them in your ear. It's not shaped for yours.
Terrible. Let's see. Actually, someone just, David B. said, Mr. Mike, if you were looking for one round to stack deep and wide for an AR, which would it be? Please and thank you.
Okay, so if cost is a factor, 5.56. If cost is not a factor, probably 300 blackout. I don't know, just because of the versatility.
Yeah.
And most people don't shoot long range, right? Mm-hmm. So let's be real. So all the other cartridges, like the 6mm that just came out today, or 6 ARC, whatever it is, and then the 6.5 Grendel, and like 6.5 Grendel's great, but you're going to have mag issues. That's just the reality of it. 224 Valkyrie could have been great, but so far it hasn't been, and I think it still could be one day. It has the potential. But yeah, that would probably be my two choices. And 300 Hammer, if it ever takes off too, that's a great round if you don't want suppressed performance and you want a 30 cal.
What about Beowulf? 50
capacity. Plus Alexander Arms is really weird about, letting people do things.
Just, like stop, dude. Like the reason it hasn't taken off is because you're about it.
Yep. It's true.
Totally agree.
We're gonna go find 12.7 by
42.
Just stop, dude.
Yep.
You're stupid.
Agreed.
Sammy spec that. Let everybody make it, and be happy that you brought something cool to the gun world.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Mike, have you been keeping up with my 224 Valkyrie nonsense?
A little bit, yes.
So I've been back on the train because Burger came out with 80.5 grain bullets, which supposedly do pretty good in 1 in 7 twist barrels. Okay. And we've been doing some testing. We've done some hand loads. We've shot some American Eagle. I just bought the brand new Federal match with the 80.5 Burger, and it was literal garbage. Like, I like Federal generally, but this stuff, it was by far the worst performing out of my rifle that we shot. I do like Federal. I don't want to impugn them at all, but so now we're doing American Eagle, and we're popping the round out, and we're putting an 80.5 Burger in it using the same powder, same primer, same case. And apparently they call those Mexican match loads. They're getting, not me, it's all over the internet, so don't get mad at me. Mm-hmm. But they're getting really good performance. I don't even know what that means, but they're getting really good performance out of them. And I literally just bought, so I've been reloading for a long time, but I just haven't done it for a few years because I'm super busy. And I just went and bought a RCBS Rock Chucker Supreme Press and a Charge Master Light powder throw just so I can reload my own 224, just because we have been doing some testing and getting 0.53 and 0.58 MOA at 100.
It's got so much potential.
It does.
It really does. Like when you run the numbers, it's like, guys, just make this work. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it sucks because I did build it, and then I got such terrible performance out of it that I just like chucked it in the safe and didn't touch it for a year and a half. But yeah, I've been out shooting every single weekend, not taking cameras, not taking anything, just literally just going out and testing loads and just trying to get this 224 to be what I wanted it to be in the very first place. And we're getting there.
Cool.
So I'm pretty stoked about it. Let's go to another Mr. Guns and Gear question from.
I was going to say, can I answer this dude's thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
About how to explain how to properly hold or get behind a rifle so over ear pro doesn't interfere?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me go get a rifle, but continue, and I'm going to go get a rifle.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Nick F says, ask why his channel got taken down. What singled him out? That's for you.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm assuming you mean my Facebook, and the overwhelming evidence at this point is that it was a video I did, which was a live video from a group in North Carolina called Reopen North Carolina, protesting the shutdowns here in the state, which are illegal. Side note, but
yep.
But so there was actually no commentary in it at all, and it was the second week they did it, so it's kind of early on. And at the time, it seems crazy now with everything going on right now, but at the time, that was a very controversial thing. And Facebook, the day before, had said that, they were going to take down groups who were supporting reopening and stuff like that. And then Mark Zuckerberg came out and said, no, we're not. And then the next day they took down my page because I put 2 videos up from it. So I worked with the guys at Open Source Defense and then Leviathan Group, and then as well as my YouTube partner. And, they never officially said what it was, but my channel was in good standing. I had no strikes, no nothing, no violations until then. And then magic, boom. And I wasn't the only one. There were several people that had the exact same thing happen in various genres of social media. It's
just so crazy, man. Like it was kind of like the inexplicable, right? Because of all the people, and this is what I said to everybody, I was like, of all the people I know, Mike knows more about the algorithms and community guidelines and than just about anybody else that I know, and B, stays well within them all the time.
Always. I'm so like,
I know,
careful about it.
It's intense, man. So to see that happen, and literally just because you had gone to a governor approved rally.
Correct. That is absolutely true.
Yeah. Like the governor was like, yeah, it's cool. And you were there, and yeah, it's just kind of insane. How did that change, like, how you move forward now, if at all?
It doesn't. I'm, ultimately doing what we do. It's kind of something you have to be prepared for. So just, diversifying where I put up content as much as possible that will still be seen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing that. No, I wish. But yeah, so I mean, that's really what I've been doing for years, and just continue to do so. But yeah, right now, well, we'll see with the executive order that President Trump signed if anything will change. But
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, we will see. That was one of those situations where it's be careful what you ask for.
Yes, it is.
Because I was
Very much so.
very much always like, yeah, they need to be controlled. Like this is they shouldn't have these protections if they're not if they're not publishers.
Yes.
And then suddenly Trump came out and he said, "I'm going after him," and I was like, "Oh no, don't do it."
It's a double-edged sword.
It really is. It really is. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I got to be careful how I phrase this because Aaron's here. But I feel one way about it, but I also feel the other way about it. And, I see both sides.
But you can only stand on one side of the fence, Sean.
I know. Trust me.
I mean, if you're going to be a platform, be a platform. If you're going to be a publisher, be a publisher.
Yeah.
At least be honest about it. Which way you can't play. They're playing both sides of the fence.
Yes, they are.
No. We're platforms, but then they're over here censoring shit like a publisher. Like,
and in court saying both things in different
right.
cases.
Like, no, either you're a platform or you're a publisher. So, yeah, I kind of hope somebody does. Normally, I'm like, the government. I don't want the government doing. But in this instance, yeah.
Yep. But it is that double-edged sword.
If you're going to act like a publisher, take away your protections as a platform. It's that simple. Or stop acting like a publisher. It's that easy.
Grave Zero said Sean is a radical centrist.
I'm a far right. I learned today. I'm far right.
You just learned that.
Yeah. I'm hardcore libertarian, so I'm far right. It's about as far right as you can get.
You're so right that you almost can't even really see the center anymore.
That you're a classical liberal.
Yeah. You're an anarcho-capitalist.
I'm real close to anarchist.
Kind of, yeah. So you were going to answer how to what?
Yeah. So
mount a
this
rifle?
is like number one, and I was going to get a different gun, but something with a drop stock, like a shotgun or like an old hunting rifle, like with a Monte Carlo stock. It's harder to do, which is why people have hard times with AR-15s because it's got the straight stock.
Mm-hmm.
So what most people do, and I realize this is a podcast. And people are listening to me, not looking at me, but I'm on camera, so you for being not watching. So what they do is they get behind the rifle, and they want to get behind the rifle, and they go like this, and they try to get way back behind it, or they put their head and they take it and they lay their head sideways, so they try to touch their ear to the buffer tube or the stock, and that's not what you do. You take your head, you push it forward like your turtle coming out of its shell. Put your chin on the stock and slide it down till that bone in your cheek, it'll stop and you'll see right behind the sights. I have headphones on that I'm listening to while I'm talking, and they are nowhere near behind the rifle. So for anybody watching on video, you tell me which one looks more comfortable, this one or this one.
The second one.
I mean, looking at you in general just makes me uncomfortable.
It's true. It is true.
It's because I'm so beautiful, it hurts your eyes.
Not at all.
Look at this hat. Man walks down the street with a hat like this.
Usually will be, I don't know. It's Halloween. I don't know. What's the scenario? It's mission specific here, that hat.
Do you guys like my home defense gun? It's a 7.5-inch suppressed SPR that I shoot 77 grain Sierra Match Kings through.
That's a technique.
Nice. And wow, that handguard. I'm sorry, not the handguard. The vertical foregrip.
The grip pod?
Mm-hmm.
Grip pod.
Yeah, this gets hot.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hot.
You know what's interesting? Everybody rags on the grip pod. The grip pod is a super functional device. If they modernized it, it would be, awesome. Like, it's super functional.
Well,
in every way.
I think the best thing we've seen in forever was that fist grip. I'm kidding.
I didn't like it.
It was okay. I had
one. I didn't like it. It's okay. But
I have one somewhere. It's still in the box somewhere.
I put it on a rifle for a while. I tried it. I just couldn't.
I tried it too.
I couldn't get behind it. Like, it just.
And the owner's a super nice guy.
Yeah,
I felt bad. I'm like,
are.
yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the bus drivers who have that knob on the steering wheel so they help them turn.
That is a good analogy.
The suicide knob.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you know why?
I have no idea.
Because when you get into an accident, bam!
Oh,
Suicide knob.
Let's see. So next question is from Kenneth G. A few questions actually over in the cult. It says anything he regrets endorsing. I'm not sure exactly what that's about, but anything you regret, like that you've come back later and you've been like, you know what? On second thought, that thing kind of sucks.
Yeah, two things comes to mind. So Frog Lube. So I did a review on Frog Lube, and 100% it worked. I had zero issues. Everything was good. And then I put those two guns, one of them was a 1911 and one was a 300 Blackout AR, away and just didn't think about them again. Pulled it out like 8 months later and they were like glued together. So now like in the comments, I just pinned a comment like, hey, this happened.
Yeah.
Like everything I say in the review, just disregard that. But that, and then there was I cannot even remember their name right now, but it was a AK company. And they were making good AKs for a year or two. And so I did 2 videos on their guns, and they were good. They were legit. No issues. It turns out the owner was a drug user, like pretty bad. What's the name of these rifles?
it's not it's not the one that got PSA bought, is it?
No. That was David Fillers was the owner of DDI.
Yeah.
But no, totally different company. And the owner ended up for the last 6 months while he was still in FFL, ended up taking a bunch of orders and just saying, hey, we're really backlogged. Like, we'll get to you. And was just using the money on drugs. And then additionally, I ended up sending him a mint 1986 Tula crank kit to build for me into an SBR. Gone.
What's his name? Is he in jail? And can we find him?
So he did go to jail. The police actually contacted me about it because apparently the crank kit was still there at his shop. Shop got closed down. I wish I could remember the freaking name of it. I can't remember it, but yeah, those are the 2 that come to the top of my head for sure.
I'm gonna start an AR manufacturing company. And call it Danielle Defense.
I'll tell you this.
It's like my candy. Was it like my candy idea where it's like candy coated chocolates called W&Ws?
The Frog Lube. So I loved it. I applied it correctly. I thought it was great. Everything was so smooth. And then I did some training in the middle of winter and 2 feet of snow, and my gun was basically just glued together. It was that from that day on, I was like, all right, I'm out.
Yep.
Yeah, but cold weather on a lot of lubes are tough, man. I've had issues when I was shooting with Jeremy where I brought some guns down that were great. You know, they're lubed up great, but they just the cold just gunked them up.
The only one I've had a problem with is greases. Well, Frog Lube specifically. Go ahead.
We have the one with the micro beads in it. What is that one?
You're talking about the hog grease from Rand CLP.
Yeah, that one seems to do okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it's thicker though, surprisingly, but it still runs really well.
Sound Guru said Frog Lube works great if you keep it in the bottle. Ethan J says, is Mr. Guns and Gear aware that he is seen as the savior to the poors?
Yes. So I make a conscious effort to number one, review items, firearms, etc., that are budget friendly as well as expensive stuff. I do both, but I make an effort to do the inexpensive stuff because I get it, like I've been there. And then additionally, obviously on my Facebook page was what I'm guessing he's referencing there is I share a lot of deals, and people are always out there and posting pores memes in the comment section, but a lot of people seem to appreciate it. So no, I am more.
That's the thing though, is there's so many people just talking about the pores, and I'm even in a group about Enforce lights, and it's
you gotta be rich to have those because the amount of money you spend in batteries.
Another flex ruined by an Enforce. I don't even remember what the group is called. And I'm like, okay, I can understand not loving Enforce lights if you have an actual good reason for it, not just because it's what the bourgeoisie of the internet tells you. Like, dude, I was a huge fan of Enforce lights, and I still think that they look great. Like, the company seems kind of cool, but I went out and I shot a Nightfire class with using a Enforce light on my rifle, using an Enforce light on my pistol, and like the way that they're activated, their switches work. It was kind of counterproductive to what they were teaching in the class. So I did some more research and looked up a couple other Nightfire classes, and they taught the same kind of principles and protocols. And I finally just ended up having to make a change. And it wasn't because I thought Enforce lights weren't cool. It was because they were not working for the stuff that I was being taught in Nightfire classes. And the whole point of what I'm saying right here is, like, people just get so they pick this target. And I saw another group similar that was like talking about bat soup optics and basically optics that were made in China. And I'm just like, people just kind of get on these bandwagons and they think that it's hilarious, but they have no real world practical application or knowledge of why they may or may not work. And it's just so annoying.
I mean, it's annoying, but I mean, honestly, that's why we exist, right?
Yeah.
Because if that wasn't the case, then we wouldn't be here.
That is true. That is true. And honestly, the people that pay $5,000 for, a roll in special, or I don't know how much they cost, they're not the people watching We Like Shooting. Like, the people watching We Like Shooting is like everyday people.
Typically, yeah, there's a mix.
Yeah. What'd you say, Jeremy?
I said, yeah, a bunch of pores.
And, like, I get, I don't know, a few thousand messages a day on Facebook, and so many of them are like, hey, I want a budget scope, or just for example. And I'm like, great, what's your budget? That's always my first question, because it means something so different to so many people. People will come back and be like $60. The next guy will come back and be like $3 or $4 grand. Like, so
yeah,
you just don't know.
It's so true. I almost bought an RMR today. Like, I had it up, I had it in my cart, and I was going to buy it. And then I was like, like, honestly, just because of all the people that, and look, I have no doubt in my mind that RMRs are freaking awesome, but there's just so much about them online, and that, like, I don't know, those like hipster bastards that just preach them, even though they've never shot at night or in low light or whatever. I couldn't do it. Like, I was so disgusted by the community that I couldn't buy an RMR today. I had it.
Don't let them win, man.
Fight the good fight.
I was so annoyed.
So Mike, 2 years ago at NRA, you had made a comment that you were going to start when you were on the panel for the TF whatever.
Sure.
The Gun Collective.
Thank you. You said you were going to start doing some videos of the guns of Fortnite. What happened to that?
I know.
My kids are waiting, man. They cry every day. Like, he said, you said, he said. I'm like, I swear he said it.
I did say it. You're right. And I planned on doing it, and it didn't happen. I happen to have all the guns from Fortnite. So
now you got to do the guns from Modern Warfare at this point.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't play video games, but I see so much of it in social media that I kind of get an idea, the guns. So yeah, I do. Whatever that is, yes, I'll have to look into it.
The guns of Fortnite should just be a hammer where someone just builds a house around you in 3 seconds and then stands on top of the walls and shoots you to death. Like, dude, I played Fortnite twice. One time I ran for 20 minutes, never saw another person, and then died from an acid rainstorm. And the next time I ran for 20 minutes, finally saw somebody. I was so stoked, and I ran up to him and I was going to shoot him, and I missed with my first shot. And they ran over towards me, built a house around me, and shot me from the walls. And I literally rage quit, uninstalled it, and I will never play it again.
That's kind of how I feel with PUBG. I'm like, ba, 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 and I'm like, what the f***? And then just like one random sniper shot kills me. I'm like, what the f***?
It's so annoying. So annoying. All right, cool. I think,
is it annoying?
Yeah, it's so annoying. If you'd like to submit your questions to Dear WLS, go to welikeshooting.com/DearWLS. And I guess we'll go into some not guns.
Not guns, not gear, just the gang. #not guns.
All right. So recently we signed Hackett Equipment as an advertiser, and I was pretty excited about it because we've been using their products for a bit. But Jeremy, you got in a couple of products from them. What are your thoughts so far?
So far, digging it. I have to, I talked about my the Rock last week. I'm going to I'm going to have to get into the Big Bertha probably this coming Monday.
Nice.
But I got to play with it some more. It's really cool the way it folds out. It's going to be hard to show on camera. Digging it though. Digging it. The only problem is like most of my guns are at the range.
Right.
So like, I don't know if I have 4 handguns at my house other than like 2 1911s and my daily carry.
That makes sense. Aaron, what did you get some in yet?
Yeah, I got a backpack and a plate carrier, and I'm really excited about what I'm putting together with it.
Very cool. And I got a few things, but the double rifle bag is what I've been kind of into this week because we went and filmed, and I threw an SKS, a 9mm machine gun, a 5.56 machine gun, and then my Foland special built on an M&P, all in the same bag. It was kind of nice. I have some other double rifle bags, and this one was all the stuff that I like about those. And it was in the, what is it called? The cobalt gray or the wolf gray. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I think it's wolf gray.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I definitely dig them. Lots of cool stuff coming from them and lots of stuff that they have available right now. Go to hackettequipment.com and save 21% using coupon code WLS's because we always ask for bigger discounts than anyone else gets. So go check them out. And Not Guns, what do you have for us tonight, Aaron?
All right, we've seen a pandemic, riots, a super volcano that's about to explode, murder hornets, armed troops on our streets. What should we expect next, guys? You guys all get to pick some sort of next catastrophe that's on the horizon. Yeah,
dude,
what do you guys got?
Mike, what do you think's coming next?
Sure. So a very practical one that I'm being dead serious about, hurricanes.
There's a huge one off of Mumbai right now. Yeah,
they're coming.
Yeah.
And I do a hurricane video pretty much every year because I think it's obviously in the Southeast. But there's the woeful lack of preparedness for it is insane. So we got hit here 2 of the last 4 years really bad. And like I live on a lake. And so, I'd go around to my neighbors and see if they need anything. And like, people just didn't have generators, didn't have chainsaws. Like I was loaning out a spare generator to people who had medical equipment that they needed to run. And I was like, they did rotate it between 3 of the neighbors. I was like,
holy moly,
buy
man.
A freaking generator. Like, you live here. Like,
that's when you go yank car batteries out of all the vehicles you could find, daisy chain those and charge that.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just, it's coming and people are going to be unprepared.
As is tradition. Yep. Man, honestly, at this point, I don't even know. Like, it's kind of like we make a lot of jokes about a lot of things, but at this point, like, I don't honestly, this year is an anomaly and it makes me laugh every time. Cause I remember right before New Year's 2020, every single person on my Facebook was like, man, 2019 was so hard. Can't wait for 2020. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to make it everything I always wanted it to be. And I just sit here kind of and chuckle to myself like every single day, wishing I had the motivation to go back and like search for all the people that had a rough 2019 so I could just like go ask them how they're doing. Oh, like it's weird, man. They were talking about what they thought in the chat. So LMAO, aliens, Cthulhu, Gojira, Meteor Strike, Robots, SMOD 2020, Sharknado, Economic Collapse. That's actually probably on its way. Yeah. Nor'easter, Boogaloo, new here. How do I submit a question for the show? Go to welikeshooting.com/DearWLS. The Covenant, an alligator hurricane, drought in the mid-Atlantic followed by a hurricane. Oh, geez.
I'm thinking like, okay, scientists are going to open up a deep cave and it's going to cause a virus that gives everyone Peyronie's.
Wow.
Yeah. At least all the males. I don't think females have to worry about that.
Yeah, that probably not. Space herpes, pig bear man, meat shortage. Like, yeah, these things.
Herpes.
These things
that's all stuff that's actually going to happen.
Yeah, it's all
Food
stuff that already
shortages.
is.
Like, people are already dying because of this shutdown.
Someone said November 4th, it's all back to normal. That would be cool because that's my birthday. And I would be like, see, the cult is strong. The power of the cult.
Snakes on a plate. Big pig bear man. Yeah, it just keeps going on. Potato salad with raisins in it. What the hell?
Remember acid rain? Can acid rain be a thing again?
I feel like we didn't give enough time to murder hornets. Like,
Yeah.
They just did. Yeah.
yeah.
They were like, we're here. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Where did we
Murder
go?
hornets.
Riots. Never mind.
Murder hornets were like, the out of here. They didn't want no part of this.
But yeah, I think like a bigger recession and economic collapse later this year. I mean, like, stuff hasn't even started to fall into place yet. Like, people that have been closing their businesses are going to have a tough time paying their mortgage if they haven't already in the next month or two. And we're going to see banks starting to default on things. Like, it's a whole thing.
You know what's really going to piss me off?
What's that?
Is when people are like, see, I told you the Trump's economy couldn't last.
Oh, God.
That's what's going to make me
going to
mad.
get political.
I'm just saying that's going to happen, and that's like going to really piss me off.
No, I think Trump gets a pass on the economy. That wasn't his fault.
True. What were you going to say, Mike?
I was going to say one thing that people really aren't thinking about that is going to happen, like 100%. There's going to be states that default on their debt across the like lots. Of them.
Easily, yeah.
I'm hoping for it. Stop paying. Stop paying. Maybe this gets people off of benefits. I don't know. When they states
but I mean,
can't pay them anymore.
States have to buy roads. States have to pay police officers and fire.
States don't have to pay for roads. Look at Michigan. They haven't fixed a road there since 1960.
We fix roads constantly. It's just all those stupid trucks from Ohio bringing tires into Michigan just keep wrecking our roads.
I mean, I've been in Ohio. The roads are kind of shitty there, too.
I'm not the one making false claims.
Okay, that's fair.
But my point
Actually,
is,
they just refinished the road out in front of my shop.
I will say this, that every morning when I go to Starbucks, their parking lot is literally probably the next plague or pestilence of 2020. There's 2 foot deep potholes in the Starbucks parking lot, and I've had enough.
sounds like my driveway. I have a dirt driveway, and I just, those ruts just keep getting bigger and bigger. And no matter how much dirt I throw in there, they just keep sleeping.
So, Jeremy, what do you think is going to be the biggest or the next big thing of 2020?
Well, they got an asteroid coming at us, right?
I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that.
I saw chocolate rain listed, too.
Okay, well, that's a big concern. Holy, do you remember that? I love that. It's Tazon Day.
Chocolate rain.
Hold on, I'm trying to find it here.
Yeah, you're finding music sucks.
I'll get us kicked off YouTube. Hold on one sec.
Babe, you turn your head the other way. Chocolate rain.
I wonder if he's like gone through rehab yet.
He probably died of COVID.
Probably. Oh God.
He just got out of the hospital from COVID, surviving COVID to get killed in a riot.
Who knew?
Died of COVID.
Who knew that having a deep voice was a comorbidity? No, because we still have Mr. Guns in here, so that's really we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the next thing that happens is Joe Tiger's zoo. All the tigers get let out, and they start killing people. They team up with the murder hornets.
Didn't they just
They get
award?
infected with COVID and mutate into murder hornet tigers, and then we got to fight them.
I just saw.
That's November.
I have not seen that show yet, but I just saw in the news that Carol Baskin got awarded Joe Exotic Zoo.
Yep. It's so epic.
That Carol Baskin.
Man, I don't even know what's happening right now. Let's go into some news and other stuff. All right, so I have a couple questions that we didn't cover. So first off, Mr. Guns Gear, I don't know. I just today finally got some night vision.
Yep.
I got the PVS 14. I have it mounted on my $150 Amazon Airsoft Mandalorian helmet, but I do need to get a good helmet. Like, do you have any recommendations on what an actual real helmet would be and what a good one is that's cost effective and also performs well?
Okay. So that makes it tough.
Yes.
The Long Fry helmets. If you don't know, Long Fry makes helmets for militaries around the world. I think they're based out of the UK, but they make some high cut ones that are, ballistic rated that you can find under $500. That said, I don't know if they accept standard pad systems like in retention systems like Windy and OpsCore. They might. I don't. I can't tell you that. I'm just saying because they're British, so it might be a metric or something.
Right. What is that?
But yeah, that's if you're talking about cost effective and not terrible, that's definitely one I would look at. And it's not made in China for a lot of people who are concerned about that with ballistic gear, which is somewhat understandable. And then my personal favorite, and there's a whole bunch out there, but 3M makes these ones called ultra lightweight. They're fantastic. It's what I have. It's my primary go-to rig. And in terms of ballistics versus say like a standard OpsCore, the only differences are like back face deformation from certain types of blasts. So like things that you would never see in real life as a civilian. So it cuts the weight. It's like 50% of your standard OpsCore in terms of weight. It's nice. They're really nice.
Are we allowed to like 3M after they were sending stuff like medical gear to China? I can't keep up with all the
me either. I don't know.
I just remember the only thing I think about when I hear 3M is the lawsuit for the earplugs in the military.
Yes,
I just got an email again about it today.
I see it every day.
Me too.
I get ads for those all the time, and I always go see why did I get this ad, and it's like similar to their audience, and I'm like, well, I never was in the military. I don't know why this would be similar. So 3M, long fry, people are throwing out hardhead vets. I've heard some not so great things about them.
Yeah, so I have a full video on that. Again, pros and cons to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The actual equipment that it comes with wasn't in spec on mine. So now 100% all of it, I could have jerry-rigged it and made it work with shims and stuff like that, but it just wasn't. And then the backface deformation on it was not to NIJ spec, but it did stop what it would say it would stop. You guys can watch the video if you want.
I think maybe I'll just get one of those baseball caps that has the bulletproof, and I'll just put the Rhino mount on that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a solid plan.
Solid plan. Because that seems safe.
Do you own a Rhino mount already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you own it, then Rhino mounts are fine. If you're going to go out and buy one, though, I would not buy one.
So this was a budget project. I was trying to get as inexpensive as possible kind of whole thing. I literally just bought the mount today from Army surplus store for $45 or something. The entire, the arm and the mount and everything. But the guy who's been kind of guiding me through this, he was like, it's not great. And it's kind of the older kind, but it does work.
It works.
It's not like I'm going to be out operating or anything. So
it's a thing. It exists.
Yeah. He's like, you'll be able to get in. It's not the best, but it's also probably not the worst.
Right.
Because I was looking at Amazon.
The thing is, though, man, if you had like one of the newer Wilcox mounts and you ever used it, you'd look back at a Rhino and be like, how did I ever deploy with that thing?
Never again.
It works.
All right. So any other helmet recommendations, or are those kind of the two where I should?
I mean, OpsCore is great. For sure, 100%, but they're, you pay for it.
Yeah. Here's my recommendation on a helmet. Is there a Riot near you? I guarantee you there's some gear drift. Find your nearest National Guard, wait till they're not looking, steal some
There you go. I mean, if I didn't want to end up in jail, or if I did want to end up in jail, maybe.
They're just going to be like, no, he lost his helmet again.
No, just today, or yesterday or something, some dude was arrested for trying to deploy with a National Guard unit.
I know, Greg.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, you posted about that.
Something's off on that story. Something doesn't make sense.
Do you think
there's no way Greg did that.
You think he just got caught up in the moment and he was like, I guess I'll walk with these dudes?
That could have happened, but that's not impersonating the National Guard.
Well, yeah.
And that's what they charged him with. And it doesn't make any sense. I think the cop, well, again, I don't know, and I haven't talked to Greg. As far as I know, he's still in jail.
Yeah.
As far as I know, but my guess is, this is my guess, the cop saw some guy who was in full kit with good gear, probably way better than the guard, and was like, what the f*** that guy do? What's going on? And then just overreacted. That's my guess. I have a viewer today, actually, speaking of the devil, from Tennessee, who there's news reports out on it. It happened yesterday, last night. But he was walking with a rifle slung, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but basically, according to news reports, and I talked to him about it, and he said this what happened. He was just walking, and the officers, like in an area where there was a protest, and he was protesting, and had his rifle slung, and the officers, were asking him questions, and he was just ignoring them, and then walked away, basically like, using his constitutional rights, and then they grabbed him, and then arrested him, and because he pulled his hand away when they grabbed him, and said that was
that Chattanooga?
Yes.
What
Yes, he's a viewer of mine. So
I remember the whole thing from the Chattanooga police. They're talking about it, and they were like, and people are just ripping them to shreds. And they're like, he had a concealed. It was like the rifle was in his backpack or something. They were claiming, and that's a concealed weapon without a permit.
No, it wasn't in his backpack, and you can see it. There's photos.
That's what they were claiming on their Facebook page.
You can see the photos. It's not like it's ridiculous.
Do you think that it's a really good idea for cops right now to be doing dumb shit like that?
Nope.
I don't either. No. I'm like,
and he said a whole bunch of attorneys have contacted him.
I mean,
wanting to sue.
A consensual encounter is literally step one.
I want this to happen to me, and I want the county to pay off my building.
Well, it might happen tonight because Colorado Springs just got put under a curfew for whatever reason. Like 50 people showed up downtown to protest, and a few of them threw rocks at cops, and the cops tear gassed them 3 nights ago. And literally today, they announced a curfew at 10 o'clock, and it goes through Monday at 10 p.m. or whatever. And I'm like, I'm really pissed off. You can go to work, you can go to healthcare, you can go to things like that, but I'm like, wow, right this soon after the quarantine for literally no reason. Like we have 380,000 people living in Colorado Springs, and because 50 were downtown raising a ruckus, we have a curfew that affects all the citizens right after all the quarantine. They're messing with the powder keg. People are not going to put up with this very much longer. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're all just throwing this quarantine up there for something that's, so I was doing a little research, and it looked like, they can enact curfews in extreme emergencies and things like that. And I'm like, where's the extreme emergency here?
Yeah, it's state by state for sure, the way that you can do it. Because when they happened here too, I was like, I looked into it in North Carolina, mayors and stuff can't do curfews, even though they say they can, and people react like they can. I guess it's a de facto curfew, I guess, for that, but they don't have the authority. They just claim to.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's insane.
And I'm like, okay, well, what's the penalty?
Right.
Yeah, they mentioned no penalty. I'm like, well, what's the penalty? What law am I breaking? Do you suspect me of breaking a law? No, I'm not going to show you my ID. What law do you suspect me of breaking?
Right.
I will be going home after curfew tonight. I'm like, I dare a cop to stop me. I'm like, I'm coming home from work. Where do you work? I work for myself. I work whenever the I want to work.
Right.
I'm getting
it's so absurd.
Yeah, I'm getting really annoyed, man. It's a little bit out of control.
Boog.
So, Mr. Gunsinger, you have a gun that I'm very interested in. This is some news that's coming very soon. So we've all heard
global. See if I can get it close enough so you can see the markings. Where is it? This way.
That is the Strybog SP9A3. And why is this different from the other Strybogs that are on the market?
Sure. The Strybogs that are out there right now, the A1s and A2s, are blowback, direct blowback system. And this is a delayed action. It's not technically roller delayed, but functionally it's going to feel the same when you fire it. And I don't know if you can tell, but mine's good and dirty, so I've fired it a good bit. But yeah, it's a totally different recoil system. So it's and price wise, it's supposed to be around $1,000 ish, depending on which SKU you get.
That is awesome.
So if you think about the other roller delayed type stuff that's out there, it's considerably cheaper. Get this handle up.
So you're
sitting at my wife's desk. She's going to be super happy about the on it.
So you're taking it apart right now. My question is now the old Strybogs, the A1s and 2s, they're basically, it looks a lot the same. It's almost like a plastic frame with that's with that in it. Is it pretty much built pretty close to the same way? Is it
everything's the same with the exception of the bolt and recoil assembly? So this is how it delays. So if you guys can see that there, it's going in and out through this pin.
Huh.
So it's not a roller delay like you're used to.
That's
I don't know if the camera's picking that up. See, that's like the lock and then unlock that comes out.
Oh, interesting. So that's almost a little bit more like a radial delay.
Kind of, yeah.
It's like it is kind of like a hybrid radial delay.
Yeah.
So not trademarked by CMMG.
Can you tell me how many of those A3s are in the States right now?
One, to the best of my knowledge, this one.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge flex right there.
I wasn't trying to, but now I guess I am. Yeah.
That is interesting. So, yeah, because I mean, roller delay usually has like literal rollers,
Right.
but that's kind of that's
And a lot of
interesting.
people, like, I've been posting this on Instagram, and people keep saying it's roller delayed. I'm like, it's not roller delayed. It's just delayed.
Yeah. Well, I think when we talked to them earlier about that or heard about it somewhere, I don't remember exactly where, but I think they were kind of representing it as a form of roller delay.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's what they call it. I don't know. But to me, it doesn't seem that way. It seems just delayed.
Yeah. So you have the A1 or A2?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I have the A1. It's awesome.
How does it compare, like as far as ejection port pop, suppression, all that stuff?
Yep. So, and the feel of it as well. If anybody's shot an MP5, you'll know what I'm talking about, or a Banshee. It's definitely a smoother recoil impulse. There's no doubt about it. And then, I shot them, what day is today? Yesterday, back to back. I put 30 rounds through my MP5, then this, then the A1. And it's noticeable. Now, if it was a full auto gun, it would be way more noticeable. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's a 9mm, so it doesn't have a ton of recoil. But it's definitely smoother. I mean, there's no getting around it. So
I would take the bolts out of an MP5 in that and weigh them. I want to see which bolt weighs less.
yeah, no, that's a good point.
And that'll affect the cyclic rate as well, right?
100%. So this, the A1 has a cyclic rate in auto of 800 rounds a minute. This is supposed to be 500 to 600.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was just shooting yesterday. We were filming, and I was messing with the kin shot. Have you messed with those KYN shot? Kin shot? It's like a piston kind of buffer. It's a recoil reducing buffer. And I was trying to compare like how I took slow motion of both, with the standard buffer and without the other one. And I think that I felt like it was a lot more controllable, but then when we watched the footage back and I actually compared them side by side, really all it really did was kind of slow down the cyclic rate, which could still be pretty cool. I mean, it did definitely make it more controllable because of that, but using that was a $120 buffer and slowing down the cyclic rate, I'd say probably from what is a 5.56 machine gun? 800?
Yeah, it's right around there.
And it was going. It took it down probably to, I'd say, 600, which was actually kind of cool. But you don't realize how much that kind of mechanical stuff really affects that cyclic rate and the controllability of them. So I thought that was pretty cool. And
it's huge. I mean, if you've ever shot like an AK with the rate reducer on it versus without it, I mean, it's night and day.
Yeah.
Actually, I just shot an AK with a rate reducer on it, and my AK does not have one on it. It was I need to juxtapose them, but I honestly didn't tell that much of a difference.
Really? For me, it's with AKs, who the hell knows what the gas setting is anyway.
So, Aaron, what Savage came out with something new?
Yeah, Savage came out with a 6-pound their 110 ultralight rifle with a proof barrel. So it's a long range rifle that's super light. So you should really enjoy those larger calibers because you'll definitely be feeling them more.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really nice.
Yeah, it's a proof barrel. It's threaded. It's threaded. But I mean, here's the thing: if you're in there and you're hiking in to go hunting, it's a great rifle because it's not that heavy, and you can go for. I've carried long or heavy rifles in to hunt with, and for short distances, and it sucks. Long rifle, but a long hike trip with something like this would be great. But I don't know if I would go with the 30-06 or the 300 Win Mag or WSM. It'd just be a little bit heavier than what I would really want the rounds to carry in a light rifle.
Yeah.
The 110's a good stock, too. It's a good setup. It's well thought out.
It does look pretty sexy, and the price is not too shabby either. $1,200. $1,200.
See, I don't care on a lightweight with that. It's not a range gun. You walk around all day with it. You shoot it one time, and you go home.
Right. Yeah.
You're not going to be putting round after round after round. You are going to get your shot, and then you are going back to camp or back home.
Which, yeah, that makes sense. So carrying it around all day, dealing with the recoil is not
like if you're not worried about it, put a brake on it. I don't know if it has a threaded barrel or not, but
They all do. Yeah, they all do.
If it's got a threaded barrel, put a brake on it. Put a good brake on it. It won't the weight that much, and you won't blow your shoulder. Still back to one round. Imagine those poor bastards in World War I and World War II with bolt action 30-06 with steel butt plates and had to fire hundreds of rounds in a day
with no ear pro.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, but you caught me. You got you one.
No good. I'm very interested in this, actually.
I love their AccuTrigger.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, it's the 110s are great. I have 2 of them.
I got a 110 FCP in the HS Precision in 300 Win Mag. That's my longer range non-rock chucker.
I really wish that I could have been. I worked with Savage to put together an advertising deal earlier this year, and finally just ended up walking away because they were trying to lowball me. I wish they would have just charged like $100 more for the rifle and paid what we asked. Because I would have one of these right now.
I kind of want. Like if I went to Africa again, I would get that.
Yeah.
The thing about it is too with proof barrels. Like, yes, I agree that the scenario you put out there is what it's designed for. But with the proof barrel, I mean, you can shoot all day. I mean, their cooling capabilities of those barrels is very unique, and it's interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. I hear great things about Savage a lot, and every one that I've shot has been pretty fun. Aaron, the next headline just says, really?
Really? Yeah, this is a story that came from, guns.com comes out with a lot. We get most of our news from there, or I get most of my news from there.
I love guns.com.
Yeah.
But this one, I can't find 9mm ammo, alternative handgun ammo that escaped the panic. And they basically
move just a little closer to your mic.
So it's ammo instead of 9mm that you can get for your handguns that they offer out there. If you are a 9mm guy, you are noticing that there's not a lot of ammo available right now.
None.
But basically, what they've listed is every other ammo in the world besides 9mm. It's like, how was it? Let's see, they've got 32, 44, 40, 45 Colt, 25 ACP, 32 ACP, 10mm, 41 mag, 44 mag, the Makarovs and the Tokarevs.
Just for the record, none of this is in stock either.
Tokarev not.
Like,
I just got an Orenco PPS 43 machine gun. I can't find the ammo for it anyway.
Yeah, it's like
I got Tokarev ammo because I have a
There you
Tokarev.
I do too.
But I mean, these are, the reason why people get 9mm is for, the ballistics, I guess, and the capacity, so obviously there's a reason why people aren't stocking up on a ton of, 4440, it's like, my revolver. So it's like, no, that's not my gun.
Yeah. So like if we go to Brownells, and they're constantly getting in new ammo. I see stuff all the time, but we'll go to handgun ammo, and we'll go to special filters in stock, and we'll just find a cartridge. What was one of the ones? 32 auto.
Why not? Yeah.
So they've got a couple different ones, all 78 cents to $1.20 a round. So
yep.
Not necessarily range ammo. Let's look at 9x19, 9mm, because I was just looking for this today, actually. It's not even listed because it's out of stock. Yeah, everything's out of stock.
It's in stock on the Mr. Guns and Gear Facebook page.
And that's funny, too, because I was on, I was buying a chicken coop today. So I was looking at the ammo prices over at Rural King because they have chicken coops there. And they had nothing in stock for 9mm. And 223, they only had one thing in stock, and it was in you had to buy 1,000 rounds. I mean, so it was
I wish I had 1,000 rounds of anything to sell.
Yeah, that's all they're selling it in right now.
I
got in 3 cases, 3,000 round cases of 9mm, and 2 10-box cases. One of Critical Duty 135 plus P and one of 115 grain XTPs. I have that was, when did that come in? Friday. I have 2 boxes of the 135 plus P left.
Jeez, man.
And that was the first 9mm target round I'd gotten in a month and a half. I can't even order it.
Gotcha.
And what pisses me off is places like, online retailers, these big, they go directly to the factory and they say, hey, we need ammo. And they're like, okay. And then it takes forever to filter down to people like me that go through distributors.
Right. And what's interesting, too, is from talking to a lot of the bigger companies and the distributors, most ammo contracts, if they're not signed more than a year out, if they're signed that year, are signed at shot. And so every company manufacturer besides one, which is Aguila, canceled those contracts and said, like pandemic or whatever. So
wow,
that's why prices went up, because they weren't going to produce it at that rate anymore.
That is crazy. I've actually gotten from Mr. Guns and Gear's Facebook page. I ordered from Camping RV World, which I'd never even heard of before. And I was like, all right. I ordered like a couple thousand rounds from that, or I don't remember how much. And then another one that you just posted the other day, Global Ordnance. I ordered like 1,000 rounds of Tula. Because, dude, when you get machine guns, you're like, yeah, I'll shoot. Steel case, I don't give a
Yep.
I got a text the other day, and it was like, hey, do you have any ammo? And I'm like, yeah, and they're like preferably 223 match grade. I'm like, I actually have a couple of thousand rounds of JCAA laying around. Then I'm like, wait, who's this? it was some guy who found my number from my FFL, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm not selling that right now. No, it's fine.
So I just checked RSR. They have 0 9mm in.
Yeah.
Do they have rat shot? They at least had rat shot.
I don't know. What is it? What is that? Is that 20 gauge?
No.
Rat shot 9mm.
Oh, that stuff? No, they don't have it. All they have is blanks. They have UMX blanks.
Oh, yeah. The first thing that came back on Sports South was that, what are they, like Remington Hyper Clean? My cost on it is like $45 a box, 50. My cost. It's like copper only, no lead in the primer. Like you can shoot it all day in a cardboard box and breathe it in. Like I don't give a. For my cost is $45. And that was like the only thing. I'm like, no, I'm not buying that.
Until further notice, we're only doing 3-round reviews. If it fires all 3 rounds, it gives 5 stars. That's all there is to it. Times are tough.
Seriously, though.
Deal with thankfully we had some built up, but, I'm always kind of looking out. I'm ordering a lot of the stuff that I don't normally order right now. So I've gotten in a ton of 300 Blackout, a ton of 6.5 Grendel, a ton of 6.5 Creedmoor, a ton of 450 Bushmaster. 458 SOCOM I've actually had trouble finding, but just a lot of the other stuff, like some of the stuff that I don't normally pick up when I'm getting 9mm and 223, I've been picking that stuff up just because it's available, and when all else fails, I'll do some 6.5 Creedmoor reviews. It'll be good. Next story, Aaron.
It says Florida City bans gun and ammo sales, citing disorders. So in West Palm Beach, the mayor says, we're not going to sell guns and we're not going to sell ammo when you guys are all out there protesting. And to me, this is like the perfect time you need to be selling guns and ammo for the people who need to protect themselves from the protesters and rioters.
Isn't this... Didn't we already find out? Sorry, Aaron. Sorry to interrupt. Didn't we already find out that this is like basically illegal?
I think it is illegal. Yeah, I mean, you can't just suspend the Constitution.
Yeah,
because you're afraid of the everyone else.
It's kind of a disaster. I guess let's start talking a little bit about what's going on. We've briefly touched on it, but Mike, I'd like to kind of hear your thoughts. Like, it's a crazy freaking time in this country right now. Like. Protests are kind of moving, even though things have been pretty calm in Colorado Springs. Now we've got a curfew starting for the next 5 days. It's like, this is unprecedented right after we had the other most unprecedented thing that had ever happened in my lifetime.
And that's still not over.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 19,000 cases I saw.
Right. And there's a lot of, like here, they're still not allowing a lot of businesses to open. Bars and gyms still aren't open here. Mm-hmm. So it's not over.
But it never was really a thing to begin with. It was just fear.
Well, I mean,
disease exists.
I posted the death tolls the other day. Did you see that? in our Slack group.
Like, I don't care.
Well, because you don't want to hear that. I mean, you don't care because you don't want it to be what it is. And,
I know what it is. I know it's over 100,000 dead.
Yeah, I mean, comparatively to the flu,
the response to what it's not smallpox. We're not talking 75% mortality rate here. We're not talking people dropping in the street. 93% of people that have died of this were beyond the average age of death. Like you're beyond average life expectancy.
I know. I mean, it affects people of all ages, Jeremy.
No, people get sick of all ages. People don't die of all ages.
Well, people have died of all ages in this.
People have. Guess what? People die because they get hit with debris falling out of the sky.
That's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about that, though. I mean, you can conflate this conversation any way you want, but I'm just talking about the basic facts.
Oh my God, are you guys not done with this yet? Like we've talked about this stuff.
Wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. You keep throwing out these straw man arguments and being like, this or that. We're not talking about this or that.
Okay.
We're just talking about what it is.
Let me leave 7% of people that aren't over that age.
Okay, hold on.
Nobody.
We have beat this one into the ground. Like you guys can scream at each other. We'll just do it after the show. But so I don't even want to touch on that. But there is a lot of 19,000 cases of COVID have come out in like the last couple week.
Don't give a
since things have opened. I know you don't, but Mike, what do you think about that? Like clearly, like people who are out protesting and standing arm in arm, like that's not a big deal to them.
Well, yeah, and what's an interesting point on that is that there are cities, multiple, not like one, like lots, most, that are issuing permits to protest, but are not allowing bars to open. Like, think about that.
It's insanity.
Seriously, think about that. That's insane. But yeah, I mean, everything going on is, it's obviously not good, but what I was thinking of is there's so many people that simply have no idea what's going on. So like the other day I was in a grocery store and I just got back on the beach when I was supposed to be on the show, but didn't because Anyway. So this kid, he's a young kid. He means well, working the cash register, probably a high school kid. He's like, yeah, how you doing? Whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm great. Just got back from the beach. He's like, they had just opened the beaches when I got back. So when I was there, they weren't open yet, but if you're an owner, you can go.
Yeah.
So, anyway, he was like, yeah, I can't believe they opened the beaches. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, it just seems like it's too soon. And I'm like, okay, well, what authority does the governor have to shut down beaches? And he just looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, no, what authority? What authority lets him do that? And he's like, I don't know what authority he didn't even understand the reference of authority,
Right.
And I was like, he doesn't have the ability to do that. That is not a constitutional state or federal thing. Like it's not a thing. So, and there's so many people that just accept it and go along with it and don't even question it. And, it's like we were talking about earlier, if you have a curfew and even though you can't issue a curfew, but people just believe they have a curfew, well, then you have a de facto curfew. And that's what's happening in all these situations as well. So I wanted to do a video on like Constitution 101, but it's so hard to condense it all and put context to it. But I still plan on doing that because there's just simply so many people that have no idea what is going on in the civil rights or civil liberties, civil rights and constitutional rights are all being violated at a level. I mean, they've been violated for the last, 150 years, but not at this level and not on this scale.
Yeah. That's the thing is, when I saw the curfew go down today, when literally nothing has been happening here, like I have not seen one protester. Granted, I don't roam the city all day, every day, but, I do drive around. I go to my bank, like I go to Lowe's down the street. We go grocery shopping. We've been hanging out with our families. Like we do whatever the hell we want to do, which we've done the whole time anyway. And I haven't seen one thing, like literally not one thing. And suddenly to have this curfew go in immediately after is that Colt?
Yep, that's Colt.
Nice.
For people who are watching, obviously not people who are listening. My dog showed up.
Yeah. So for this curfew to go directly in right after the quarantine and like everybody just buying that, I'm shocked at how easy it is for them just to be like, oh, no, now we have a curfew.
Right.
And that is, first of all, I work a lot. So like me being out after 10
How
o'clock.
many dogs do you have over there? It's like a magic trick.
Just 2. This is Glock.
They're so cute. But yeah, just this quickly, and even for not anything, there is no national emergency. There is no local emergency. They have not declared a state of emergency. There's not cops running, like cops aren't being killed here in Colorado Springs, and they just boom, curfew. And it makes you think, like, once they did that quarantine, it just opened the gates for them. Anytime something's going on they don't like, boom, curfew.
Yep. And hopefully, this is my sincere hope, is that, well, first off, that a lot of these people that are doing these things get sued. The governors, et cetera, the law enforcement that's enforcing these things. My ultimate hope is that they get charged with civil rights violations, because that's what they're doing, criminally charged. That probably won't happen, but it should.
I agree. Jeremy, you guys have any quarantines going on there?
I mean,
I'm sorry, curfews. That's what I meant.
No, God, no. I live so far out in the middle of nowhere. Like I said, I tried to explain to somebody the other day. I was like, we were arguing about arrest rates. And I was like, of course nobody gets arrested where I live. There's one cop in the whole goddamn town, and he gets off at 6.
It's true.
Nobody's arresting anybody. I could drive 100 miles an hour up and down the road smoking crystal meth. I'm never going to get arrested for it, because as long as I do it after 6 o'clock, the cop's not on duty. Like, it doesn't matter.
He's just at home chilling.
We literally pay the county sheriff to send a deputy out here and just drive around all day. We haven't had a murder since forever. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of a heroin problem, like, in some areas, but, like, not really. Like, it's more in the cities. Now, what I call the city.
Right. So, Aaron, I know that, like, we generally have different opinions on this kind of stuff, but what do you think about, are you guys under a curfew in or any areas of Michigan?
I believe some of the bigger cities, Detroit, Flint, and Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo kind of places, yeah.
And what do you think about that, especially after the quarantine?
Well, first, I don't agree with it. I mean, I personally think I'm pro protest, man. I think people should be out there, and I'm okay with burning police stations down. I'm not advocating people do that, but if you're angry and you feel like that's your outlet, I don't think it's okay to burn down private property or businesses. But if you want to direct your anger towards people who can fight back, do so. I mean, if you feel like you strongly enough that you need to take up arms and fight somebody, then I think law enforcement would be the perfect opportunity, because, and I'm not advocating this at all, but, don't do it against people who have no vested interest in this, so to speak. Well, that sounds horrible. I hope I'm not coming off as someone who's crazy, but I mean, people are mad at the police for what they do.
People are mad at, yeah, sure. I think that's really simplifying it to a point that is almost unfair, but yeah.
Right. Okay, I apologize then. People are mad at certain police officers for their policing tactics towards minorities.
People are mad at authority, right? Like,
I think people are virtue signaling and using it as an excuse. That's it.
I mean, like,
the data doesn't suggest that any of this is actually real. The numbers have been crunched,
just like everything else. But yeah, I mean, so I think people are upset because, like, sometimes people die and maybe they shouldn't have. And I think that, I mean, this is way too much to unpack. But let me go back to my original question.
Okay, I don't think you should let the protests go on. Let the people go out there. Don't impose curfews. It'll peter out. People will yell. It's just like when you're hitting, someone gets mad and they start punching a punching bag or whatever they want to punch. Eventually they're going to get tired, and all the anger that they've had inside is going to go out. By stifling it, by putting curfews in place, by telling people they can't do it, it makes them even more angry and more enraged, and things are going to get worse. They're putting pressure. It's a pressure valve. They need that pressure release.
Well, I think there's better ways to do it.
I'm okay with the purge.
Honestly.
Yeah, I'm fine with the purge.
Maybe that's third quarter 2020.
Yeah. That's post-election.
The new founding fathers.
I'm sorry.
We could be those guys. We could be the new founding fathers. Let's do it.
Hat, man.
Yeah, not with that hat.
The fish asked, do I think they should be held accountable if caught burning down a police station? If you're breaking the law, yeah, you should be held accountable. I agree.
Here's the thing. I'm like, okay.
I'm only saying burning down a police station is intellectually consistent.
Yes.
I will agree with that. That when they burnt down that precinct where that cop worked, I was like, okay. I'm like, I don't agree with it. Like,
flex, but okay.
That's our tax dollars. But at the same time, at least you're, going after the people that you say you're mad at. But so here's the thing.
I mean, don't destroy your own neighborhoods and everyone's livelihood.
Destroy your own neighborhood. Don't destroy my neighborhood.
Well, that's kind of racist, Jeremy.
Here's the thing. I've been trying to say this for a few minutes, but I'm going to get on it now.
Yeah, do it, man.
There's so many different powers at work here, right? We have people who are protesting, and I think righteously protesting. I think, what was it, qualified immunity? Like, been doing a lot of reading on. I knew it existed. I watch Audit the Audit on YouTube a lot, and they talk about that kind of thing. And do I think that across the board it's a terrible thing? No. But do I think sometimes it leads to poor behavior? Yeah, I do. So I've seen a couple bills be introduced that are reducing qualified or removing qualified immunity, and I think that's just a knee-jerk reaction in the opposite way. Like, it doesn't actually fix the problem. It just takes away a thing that solved a previous problem before that they put into place, but now it's going to take away that problem, so we're going to go back to the problems from before, and we're just going in a stupid, vicious circle.
If I may, Sean, it's like the mini skirt. Skirts get shorter, and then suddenly they get super long.
Yeah.
And then they get really – and it's the pendulum. It's going to swing one way really far, and for people to compensate, they're going to swing it really far the other way. And instead of just trying to find that middle ground, they're just going to – like you were saying, that knee-jerk reaction where it just flies straight to the other side.
Yeah. So we've got people who are protesting, and their voices deserve to be heard. Like, I don't care one bit if I agree with protest, whatever it is. I think maybe they're silly in general, but I think that people have the right to do them. But then you've got other people, and I think the people protesting righteous things, or even non-righteous things, like I don't care what they're protesting, I think they should do that, and that's what this country's built on. But then we have these other people, and I don't think that it's a pressure release. Like, I'm sorry that their life sucks, if that's what it in fact is, but I think some people just want to watch the world burn, and some people just see it as a way to get free. And those people, they're I don't know. I don't want to come down too hard.
Not the world burn. They want this country and the ideologies it was based on to burn, so they can rebuild it in their own vision.
Which their vision is awful, and what we're seeing is a result.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, what we're seeing is a result of it.
But all right, to be fair, Jeremy, you'd like to see the world change, the U.S. change to your ideology, don't you think?
Well, you could say it. He'd like to see the world burn.
My ideology is the ideology that America was founded on and used to be.
So you'd burn it down and rebuild it back to where it was?
No, I don't want to burn it down. I want to turn it back to where it was, where we used to be, not change it completely. So, that's very different.
So getting back to it, like, we have people who are protesting, but they're overshadowed by criminals, basically. And
100%.
Yeah, and is it like, I'm seeing a very odd amount of palletfuls of bricks just showing up in places. That's weird to me. Like, I can't explain. Do you have any thoughts on that?
So, I mean, actually, there was just today, there was I don't know, an alphabet agency. I don't want to say which one because I'll get it wrong, but I think it was DIA. And they came out with a report about tracking those and the money behind it. And the money, i.e. who was paying for it, was redacted. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. So we don't know who it was, but somebody is doing it, and it is coordinated, according to them anyway. But yeah, so thoughts on that. That is the thing. I mean, that's weird. Like, I've worked construction before, and like, you don't leave bricks behind.
No.
That's not how it works. Like, they're expensive. Like,
I can only imagine, like, because some of the pictures, it looks like they're getting ready to pave bricks.
Right.
Like, there's a spot where a brick could go, or there's a brick wall in the background, or there's bricks. There's other bricks in the picture. And I'm going, okay, so they didn't get them all down, or those are leftovers. But I think it happened. Somebody took a picture, noticed it, and somebody went, that's a really good idea.
Right.
Maybe. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute.
It became like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. And then I saw yesterday. Was it yesterday? I believe the video was yesterday, so it would have been the day before. Did you guys see the Bentley that drove up and did the looting in New York?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I drove up in Bentley. got out. I think it was Saks Fifth Avenue, and went in there and looted and came out.
That's amazing.
Well, it's like the two Ivy League lawyers that got nailed for throwing a Molotov cocktail in New York. You're like, you stupid.
Yeah, one of them went to Princeton or something like that. And then I wonder, well, okay, now I'm seeing piles of bricks everywhere. Like, I don't know if that's actually true. I don't know if it was actually taken now or if it was taken 10 months ago when somebody saw them in their neighborhood and they thought it was weird. And I'm like, holy shit, now am I being manipulated by this thing that's confirming my bias? I don't know.
Right.
It's a disaster, man. I am very much so not watching any news. I hate the news. And my life is generally just fine. Like, someone texted me about the curfew because otherwise I would have never even known about it. I literally got a text from some governmental organization that was like, "Hey, you're under curfew," and I responded in kind. But I don't know, man. Mr. Guns and Gear, are we going to come out of this?
Yeah, one way or another. Might not look the same. We'll see. Just the economic impact is just atrocious, and people don't understand it. Largely.
Oh, I'm waiting till there's bread lines and people start like literally starving to death, because that hasn't happened in America in a long time. It just hasn't. And people are like, well, and people go, the poor people of this country. I'm like, do you realize we don't have poor people?
Well, I mean that, and like you look at one of the reasons it's not impacting. Well, a lot of people aren't perceiving the impact is like. Think about it. Like, have there been any university professors laid off, any federal government people laid off, any state government employees laid off? Like, you have this sector, and guess what? All those entities that I just said are taking in less revenue, but they're not, acting like any other business would, where you'd lay people off or reduce hours or any of that stuff. So it's going to come at some point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when they stop funding pensions and when they,
Right. At the state level, they're going to have to do that. There's only 2 states that don't.
The Ohio just cut $350 million out of the education budget.
That's good.
Well, here's the fun part. Ohio has like a 1.7 or 2.7 $billion rainy day fund. Mm-hmm. And
Jeez.
we actually have a pretty good surplus, like in a little rainy day fund. And, we're only like, or maybe it was it 2 point, maybe it was billion. And it was like 2.7 billion or 1.7 billion. And then they're like, oh, we're 800 million short for operating costs. And we're like, all right, stupid, take it out of the rainy day fund, use it for operating costs. We still have money in there, and we get to next year and all this done with. At least then we don't like take it up the. And they're like, but DeWine's an idiot.
Well, uneducated masses are easier to control.
They don't really have $2 billion surplus. That's just what they say they have. It's all they've been swiping it from other places anyway.
I mean, well, government, man. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them.
Jeremy,
I'd like to overthrow them.
Jeremy, any looting near you?
Oh, near me?
Yeah. Aaron, any looting near you?
No. There was a tweet that said they were going to burn down Hull, where I live. And it was by someone who actually worked for the state government. And,
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, she's under. She's been reprimanded.
She won't lose her job. It's a government job.
Right.
She still won't get fired.
Mr. Guns and Gear, any looting near you?
Yeah, lots.
Yeah, and I don't have any looting near me. So far, so I don't know, man. It's an interesting
fun
time
for you. Are you like yeah? Do you your eyes get all big and you're like, loot my house? I dare you.
No.
And then you have your Strybog already.
No, I don't want any of that. I don't want
any of that.
Yeah, I don't want to take anybody's life over something stupid like my television or my Xbox.
I do.
We know in Minecraft.
Because in real life, I want to remove pieces of from this planet, and I want them to give me the legal means to do it.
I'm so glad that none of us have a law degree, because we would literally have to
What? All I'm saying is, if somebody puts me in a position where I can legally remove them from the planet, I'm going to. I'm not going to do it where it's illegal to do it. I'm just hoping they put me in that position.
Well, abortions are legal.
I definitely don't want to be in that position, but holy
I want to late-term abort Aaron.
We're way.
I'm past the 17th trimester. You're out of luck.
You're like the 170th trimester. or 1700th. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
I was what am I, 25 again? What the hell?
No, you're like, no.
Younger than you.
You've got clothes that are 25, bro. We are way over our frickin' our time allotment. So I do want to remind people to go check out the Patriot Patch Company. That's patriotpatch.co. And I don't know what it is. I can just message Jake and have him send me stuff. But literally, I bought 2 patches because I was afraid I was going to miss out. And then I was like, holy shit, is Jake the fake media manipulating me now? But yeah, they're awesome. I got the it was Yoda and Pikachu mixed, and then I got the Flugaloo, which is the gas mask, and they're just awesome stuff. Go check them out. PatriotPatch.co. Coupon code WLS10 saves you 10% off. Mr. Guns and Gear. The Facebook page is back up. Your YouTube channel is awesome. I watch your videos all the time. What's the best way for people to consume your content and find the deals and all that stuff?
So YouTube generally to consume the content. Facebook for sure. Instagram as well. Instagram's kind of like a preview. That's how I use it as to what's coming up on the other social media. And then you can sign up for my email because we are getting censored on every platform except for Twitter, ironically. So if you do that, there's a direct link between me, my content, and you. So
that's
you
awesome.
can sign up at MrGunsandGear.com or at the sign up tab on my Facebook page.
Perfect. I don't go on Twitter because the last time I went on Twitter, it was some Hawaiian professor calling me the face of like white nationalism, Boogaloo boys.
Yeah, I get all that too, but they actually don't delete my posts and don't shadow ban me.
They posted my picture.
They doxed you, bro.
But yeah, it is funny that Twitter, all things that it is and all things that it isn't, that they're not deleting your all the time.
It's interesting.
It is. Yeah, I guess we're like an hour over. I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore. Now I'm definitely going to be out after curfew. It's a big disaster. Anyway, join a gun-related advocacy group, especially Firearms Policy Coalition, because they're going after a lot of this dumb that we're seeing right now, which is great. And they're doing great work. We've had Matt LaRosier on. Who else? We know Adam Kraut. They're just doing awesome stuff, and I definitely support them. GOA, Second Amendment Foundation, they're out there. Get involved locally. It's going to be election time. It's going to be an interesting time in this country. I'm not telling you who to vote for. Jeremy's muzzling me. I don't like it. But it's an interesting time. Kind of weigh the options. Don't let anyone manipulate you, which is what everyone's going to be trying to do. And I really, truly don't want to do that here. So suicide prevention line, we have mentioned it and it's come true. We've been talking about it since literally the first days of COVID that suicides are going to rise because everything's been closed down. And as the wheels fall off financially for a lot of people that have closed businesses, not worked in 2 months, once that $1,200 stimulus goes away and they stop paying those bonuses on unemployment, things are going to get rough and it's going to get tough. And there is a suicide prevention line. The number is, what are you doing?
There was a mosquito.
Oh, okay. 1-800, that was a moth, but.
No, dude, I saw a moth. All right, so does that work this morning?
And I saw Mothra.
Hold on.
I saw what I thought was a bird in our building flopping around. Like it would fly up and then fall down. And I'm like, holy shit, there's a bird over there dying. I wonder what killed it. And then someone walked over there and was like, that's not a bird, it's a moth. And it was like, God, moth this big.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Suicide prevention lines, 1-800-273-8255. You can text a message to 741-741. We're here live every week on Mondays and Wednesdays on demand every single day. We're defying curfew just to bring you the signal. Go to welikeshooting.com/show to subscribe. And as we always say, thanks for listening. Get some medical training. And I guess most importantly, disobey curfew at all costs. Boo. No, don't boo. You don't even know what that means.
Isn't it that bear from Open Season? That was who it was. Oh, Sean, you got your night vision on?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't hear us, though, because he doesn't have his ear pro in.
This is the dumbest helmet that has ever existed.
So, what shall we name the show, Mike? You get to pick.
I gotta get my Kevlar set up.
I get to pick.
You get to pick the name of the show. That's not. I don't know how to spell that, and I don't know what kind of image to associate with that.
Riot Fallout. How about that? I don't know.
That works.
So excited.
We got this. I'm fading out the music. We're almost done.
That moth was huge, though, dude. I expected two miniature Chinese twins to be singing to it.
When you slapped what you said was a mosquito, I literally saw a moth flying around your head.
There might have been. I mean, I don't know where they're getting in.
Did you think that show was worth $1? Help the cast by visiting lovewls.com.